funniest reason you've been called into school to collect your child. I got called to pick up my 8-year-old son during lunch. The secretary's voice was shaking, and she just said, please come immediately, and bring your lawyer if you have one. My heart stopped. Lawyer? What could an 8-year-old possibly do that needed legal representation? When I arrived, the parking lot was half empty, like other parents had already fled. Police cars were parked out front. 2 officers were interviewing parents by their cars. The receptionist wouldn't make eye contact and just pointed toward the principal's office. I noticed she had tissues ready and kept glancing at her phone like she was documenting everything. As I walked down the hall, I could hear muffled shouting from behind closed classroom doors. Teachers were peeking out, then quickly shutting their doors when they saw me. One teacher was on the phone saying, yes, we may need the hazmat team. Hazmat team. My mind raced through every possible scenario. Had my son brought something radioactive? Poisonous? I passed the nurse's office where 3 kids were sitting with ice packs. One was crying, my nose burns. Another kid had a nosebleed. The principal was waiting with the school nurse, what looked like a maintenance worker holding cleaning supplies. And now, a woman in a suit who introduced herself as the district's legal representative. Ma'am, before we begin, I need to inform you that this incident may require police involvement, the legal woman said, pulling out a recorder. Do you consent to being recorded? I was shaking. What did he do? Ma'am, we need to ask, does your son have access to any chemical experiments at home? The principal asked, looking genuinely concerned. Any laboratory equipment, chemistry sets, access to your medicine cabinet? I was completely lost. No. Why? What happened? Is someone hurt? The nurse stepped forward. Well, he brought something to school today that caused quite a reaction. We've had to call poison control. Poison control? My son was going to jail. I was going to jail. I started mentally preparing for court dates and news interviews. Several children required medical attention, the legal representative added, taking notes. We need to understand the source of the substance. The principal opened his desk drawer like he was handling evidence and pulled out an empty Ziploc bag with tweezers. He told everyone this was magic powder that would make them fly. He was charging kids $5 each. $5? My son was running a drug operation at elementary school? I stared at the bag, trying to figure out what could be so dangerous that it needed poison control, police, and legal representation. What was in it? The maintenance worker was mopping something white off his hands. The nurse was organizing incident reports. The legal representative was still writing furiously. I braced myself for the worst. Cocaine? Fentanyl? Some new designer drug I'd never heard of? The principal cleared his throat. Before we reveal what it was, I need you to know that your son demonstrated entrepreneurial creativity. He had a whole business plan. Business plan? Now I was picturing my 3rd grader as a criminal mastermind with spreadsheets and territory maps. The maintenance worker finally spoke up. Ma'am, your son brought a bag of baking soda to school and convinced half his class to snort it during recess. I blinked. Baking soda? 23 kids with white powder all over their faces, convinced they were about to achieve flight, the principal said, trying not to smile. The playground looked like a crime scene. I apologized profusely, collected my future entrepreneur, and spent the drive home explaining why you can't sell flying powder to classmates. The next day, 3 parents asked me for the recipe.